testing on. What did you do?
The garage light.
Oh.
Right there, see?
Oh, yeah.
High-tech lighting.
Bring it down here from the garage sheets. So, hi everybody. I'm Joe Gordon.
Joe Granata.
Jimmy is not here. We'll see him sooner rather than later. But today we're going to be making some sinkers. And so we're going to show you guys how to make sinkers from scrap lead, prepared ingots, and we're going to show you a bunch of different types of sinkers, sizes, molds, and how to do it safely, and then explain why it's important that you know about the different styles and sizes of sinkers so you can use them to help you catch more fish, because that's why we're here. So just to start, what's your favorite weight most year round and style?
Like size, weight, or style?
Yeah, your size, weight, and style. What do you use
around here?
most of the time?
Around Pittsburgh, we don't typically have too much current, which is unfortunate. It makes fishing kind of stink a little bit, but usually between like 5 and 8 ounce. And I usually use flat bank or coin sinkers.
Why? Why do you like those?
They're flat, low profile design sinkers, so they don't catch a lot of current, and it's how we fish and how we set up on particular pieces of structure and areas in the river. It's important that when we cast our bait somewhere, they stay put in order to cover that zone that we want that bait to cover.
But most of the time, we're precision anchored. We know where the structure is at. We're pretty sure we know where the fish should be close to. So yeah, like you said, man, it's important to keep the baits where you cast them. I don't know what you're feeling. My feeling is that this is a very overlooked part of consistently catching big catfish is your sinker selection and how you use them. So yeah, we've got a wide variety of sinker molds here. We're going to be making from 2 up to like a pound, 16 ounces. Where do you usually use 16 ounces? Because we're going to make some. Because we're going to need some.
I go in the winter. This is, as you see, my boat's in the garage here.
It's January in Pittsburgh, so there's not a whole lot of cat fishing going on here.
Typically, when the flathead bite is on around here, my boat doesn't have time to come in here and get dry. It's usually on the river a lot, but this is kind of like the off season for our flathead fishing around here. So we kind of get settled in, get the boats rigged up, get all of our gear together. In the last few years, I've been taking a lot of trips down to the James River in Virginia, so I try to get there at least once a month.
It's awesome.
And that's where the bigger sinkers come in play, because you have that tidal current moves a lot. You got to have some big lead to keep. If you want your baits to stay where you want them to be, you got to use some bigger leads, especially off the side of the boat. So
yeah, we're going to start making these sinkers, and hopefully we don't burn our hands off and whatnot.
Catch the boat on fire.
Or catch the. This is the first time we've done this on a boat, but the garage is cracked in the front. It's well ventilated. We do got some safety equipment. I'll grab some of it here. Joe's not going to wear glasses.
Well, I got a pair. My safety glasses are on a job site that I'm working on, but I got a pair of glasses I'll wear because I don't want hot lead to fly in my eyeballs.
You kind of need, you want some gloves. This stuff is hot. Some safety glasses. Joe's a contractor and he doesn't have safety glasses in his garage.
They're on a job. I don't do much work at home.
It's good to have at least a set of pliers, a spoon. You're going to need some type of spoon to get the slag off the top, and some diagonal cutters as well. Some other stuff that we have here. This is fluxing compound, and this is what we use to put in the molten metal. And what it does is it latches hold of the impurities and floats them to the top where we can scrape them off to give you clean lead. Some other recommendations are a propane torch, one that helps the heating process up a little bit, and also sometimes I'll heat for the initial couple, the first couple fills. Sometimes I'll heat the molds up a little bit.
Warm them up, preheat them.
Yeah, preheat them. It helps for a more even pour. But we'll see a lot of that. We're going to get this all on film and show you guys what's up.
All right, well, let's get to it.
Yeah, let's do this. So at this point, we're getting the big molds prepared for the first couple pours. We've heated them up, did some pre-pours. You can see the lead kind of off to the side there. One of the toughest parts is, especially anything that has a brass eyelet, is getting your eyelets set once the mold is actually heated up. If you have gloves on to protect your fingers, it's hard to have the dexterity to get it in there correctly. And if you take the gloves off, you burn your fingers. So that's one of the more challenging aspects of making these large sinkers. Is not trying to, have that fine line of dexterity to be able to do small stuff like put brass eyelets in, but also protect yourself from the molten lead and the heat that's involved in this. So because I'm going over, it's going to use a lot of lead, and these are not going to be, you'll notice when you start making these, the bigger the sinker, the more you have a likelihood of them not turning out perfect, and that's going to be fine. You're going to have that quite a bit with the bigger the sinkers get, just because as the lead's going in, it's changing temperatures a lot because there's a lot of area to fill in that void. That's fine. The main thing you want to really look for after you're done is that, one, at least it's a basic shape of what you're looking for, your basic weight, but also you want to make sure you're not going to have a bunch of sharp edges. If you get something out of the mold and it's just snaggled and ridiculous, don't get too upset or anything like that. You're not going to get a perfect pour every single time. So all you'll do is basically just put it nice and easy back into the molten lead, and you'll be able to see your brass eyelet will actually float right to the top of the surface because it's less dense than the lead. So you can take a spoon and get that right out of there. You don't have to worry about the eyelet, because like I said, they flow right to the top. So that's another easy way. If you had some old sinkers that maybe it's a style you haven't used or someone gave you or something like that, you don't even have to worry about trying to figure out how to get the brass eyelet out. You could literally just take those, should be pretty clean lead, and put them in with after your lead's nice and hot, or even before then, and then once the lead melts, those brass eyelets pop right to the surface. Scoop them up, and it's a way of recycling your old lead. So right here you can see we've got 3 pours done in these big cavities, and they're not going to be the greatest looking sinkers in the world, but there's, I think it's 12, 14, and 16 ounce sinkers. They're pretty big. It's good enough to get the job done. Like I said, I think the most difficult thing once you start going is the brass eyelets. It becomes difficult. to get those set, and that's important. You need those eyelets to be set properly into the lead when you're making your pour. So you're there. You get 16, a 14, and a 12. And that's what we're looking for. That thing is going to be, the more lead, the hotter it's going to be. So just be prepared to protect your hands and be safe.
But this little organizer, I'd like to take credit for it, but I actually learned that on YouTube from a channel called Fishing and Stuff.
I love that guy's channel.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's awesome.
So he does a lot of DIY projects and, you know, just builds all kinds of custom cool stuff that anybody can do. I've learned a lot just watching that channel. I enjoy it, and this is like one of his tips on one of his more recent videos. So if you guys want to check that out, Joe can possibly leave a link.
Yeah, I'll probably put a link up there, man, because that's a really great channel. I enjoy it.
But that, I mean, that thing right there, you know, sometimes you might need a 6-ounce sinker. I keep like 80 pounds in there. You got to dump the whole thing out and dig through them. It's such a pain in the butt to find that sinker you're looking for. So now they're tiered shelves in there. They come out. It's
so
awesome.
Right now he had it set up where he had the heavy James River stuff on top, because that's what he's been. It's the winter time, so. Yep. He's been going down to the James River recently, and that's what we've been doing. So
it's $10 well worth spent.
Is it $10 for all three?
Yeah, for the set.
Oh, that's
and I already had the metal ammo tin. I think I only paid $12.
You can get those at Harbor Freight for like $10 or $15. I mean,
it's worth it, man. I was impressed how tight that
is. It's a good
too.
way, especially when we're getting in and out of the boat all the time. You can just keep this in the boat because you don't have to lug the sinkers in and out. Just keep them right here.
Yeah, that stays right there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's we all know where they're at. Hey, I need this. Well, hey, get off your ass and go to the freaking ammo box and get some. Right? So yeah, this is just some sped up footage of us really getting into a good rhythm of making sinkers, keeping track of what we made and how many we made of what. And that's important so that you know what you're making and what you still need to make to reach your goal. So if you guys like this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe. We're going to be putting out a lot of good videos throughout the season, and hit the bell so you can be notified whenever we drop a new video. We try to do it once a week. This is one of the first videos we shot, so it's not the greatest quality. Hopefully we get a little bit better and more comfortable in front of the camera as time goes on, but hopefully here we're getting close to fishing season, so we'll actually get some real fishing videos and a little bit more enjoyable. But this might help out some people that have been looking to make sinkers and just been, not been able to. So go out and do it and have fun, but stay safe and protect yourself. So, I don't know if you want to explain. I think he's kind of busy there. So, I mean, the end process, when you do this, you're not quite done. There's still a little bit more work that has to be done, right?
Yep. Are these pulled down?
You got any that are ready? So, when you're casting these, there's always a little bit left over, especially on the top. So you take your diagonal cutters and you rip that right off. But also, put it right back in. But you're going to have a little bit of a sharp edge maybe there and on different spots. So that's when you take, I wouldn't recommend cutting towards you like that, but Joe's a professional. He's already cut himself only once today.
It's not bad.
Just kind of round it over, feel it with your finger. If you feel any burrs,
So
keep going with it.
a little trick that I've learned is if you take a cotton ball and run it on the edges of that, if it ever catches anything, the cotton ball will pick up even the smallest burr, and you'll know. You can take it on a piece of emery cloth too and round it off too.
Yeah.
And
But even,
kinda-
not just where the spout is, though. Check the whole thing, because sometimes there'll be a little seam.
your line can get wrapped around there and it can fray your line. So
It'll be
wanna-
you'll lose a fish of a lifetime over being lazy when you're melting sinkers. And
yeah.
that's a no-go. It's not cool.
We don't do stuff like that. We don't take shortcuts.
That's about it.
Yeah, and then once you're done, I mean, we can kind of got a mess of some pretty big ones. Most of those are pounders, 16s. Got some 16s. We did 20 16s, some 14s, some 12s, a lot of 8s and 10s,
Some fives.
some 5s.
Um,
I mean, we're gonna probably do this again before the season starts, but Joe was really hurting for some bigger sinkers for the James, so I figured this was an appropriate time to get together and melt some. This is kind of like the aftermath. Any pearls of wisdom?
no.
No.
I